Okay, here in this video, I'm going to show you how to show the formation of ions for various elements. And so we're going to form a compound is what we're actually trying to do here. So I have an example here for number 4. You won't see this as an assignment, but just I created this just for this video. So what we're going to be looking at, and let's go to the background. I have these directions. They're in the assignment. You're going to draw the dot diagrams for each element. That means you're going to find the number of valence electrons. So what you're going to need to do there is go to ptable.com, or you can use any periodic table, but ptable.com works really well, and I have that linked. And we'll click on lithium, and we notice that lithium is in group 1, so we should note that it has 1 valence electron. If you have a hard time remembering that, just go over here to this tile and find that bottom number, and that always tells you the valence electrons. But if you look, group 1, every one of these elements has a bottom number that's 1. So everything in group 1 has 1 valence electron. So that's another way of knowing that as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the dot structure for lithium. You should be familiar with how to do this because we've already done this in the past. So now what you're going to do is you're going to choose the color. You can choose whatever color you want. In this case, I'm going to choose this blue. And the line thickness is kind of important. I would choose the line thickness next to the thickest, but make sure you click on fill shapes. Okay. And so when you do that, we're going to put the shape in, and it's going to be a circle. All right. And that's going to represent our dot or our electron. And so lithium has 1 valence electron, so we're going to show 1 dot. And so with one click of the mouse, I have a perfect dot. So we shouldn't see these large, different size dots. They should be fairly reasonable in size, and they're going to need to be for the way that we're going to be using these here in the next few days. So then let's also draw the dot diagram for fluorine. Again, we go back to our periodic table and we find fluorine. And this periodic table says it's in group 17, and that's true. Others also show an A value, and it would be 7A. But 17, all of these have the same number of valence electrons, and that is 7. If you look at the tile over here, it says 7 on the bottom, so it has 7 valence electrons, so you need to draw 7 dots. We've already configured the size of the dot and the color, and we filled the shapes. So we'll go in and we'll choose circle again, and this time we will put in our dots all at once. So remember, when we are doing this, we have to show a dot on each side of the symbol until they're forced to pair. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so there you see those dots are in there, and so we have completed part 1 of the directions. The next part is to draw a line showing the transfer of electrons from the metal, which is going to be the cation, to the nonmetal. If you go back to the assignment, you will see a periodic table that shows you whether you have a metal or nonmetal. The metals are in pink and the nonmetals are in blue. So make sure you take a look at that. And for this assignment, the metals are going to be on the left-hand side. So we look at the scribble feature. So I'm going to click on the scribble feature, and I'm just going to draw a little line towards the missing dot, all right, because it should have 8. So I'm drawing a little feature there. And then I'm going to add another dot to show that the electron was transferred from lithium to the fluorine. So now that that lithium has lost the electron, what we're going to say is that it forms a cation. And so I will say that it's going to have a +1 charge. Whoops, not an equal charge, a +1 charge. And maybe I don't like the color for that. I can change the color. You can do whatever you want to on this. This doesn't matter. I'm going to change the color. If you don't like the size, that's okay too. You can change that. So I'm going to say +1, and I'll show you how to change the size. So notice it's not where I want it to be. I'm going to click on this little bracket, and then I'll hover over that, and I can move this wherever I want. But not only can I move it, I can easily change the size so that it's a reasonable size. You can even rotate if you want. I don't really want that rotated so much, but I do want it somewhere in this top left-hand corner of the symbol. All right, and so that forms a +1. Fluoride gained an electron. And so it's going to, if it gains something negative, it's going to have a negative charge. So this is going to be -1. And again, all we have to do is click the little bracket, click on the picture that we want to move, and then we move it, and then we can also resize it very easily. And that would be a perfect answer for that. So what we did was we drew the dot diagrams. We did that for lithium and fluorine. Then we drew a line showing the transfer of electrons to form the metal from the metal, which forms a cation, to the nonmetal, which forms an anion. And then we wrote the charge for each ion in the top left corner of the symbol. And so if you do those things, you're going to be successful on those assignments. I'm going to do one more. And so this one, we're looking at barium and selenium, because it's all about the base. All right, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure I put that out there. I don't want to cause any trouble. So what we have here, the same directions, draw the dot diagrams. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our periodic table. Again, you can change your colors to whatever you want. Fill the shapes. It should save from what you did in a previous one, and you'll push OK. And we go to the periodic table, go to barium. I think it was barium. Did I have, yeah, barium. And I see that it is in group 2, so I should know that it's 2 valence electrons. But if I'm unsure, I look at the bottom number and I see it says 2 as well. So I'm going to draw 2 dots to represent the 2 valence electrons. And so that is 1 and 2. And so then I'm going to go to the next one, selenium. And I need to know how many valence electrons selenium has. And I see that it is over here in 16, or 6A, as we would say, and it has 6 valence electrons. I can see by looking at the bottom number. I'm going to put my electrons in, making sure that I go around 1 for each symbol until they're forced to pair. So it will look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we need to draw a line showing the transfer of electrons. You can only show a transfer of electrons to an area where there is no pairing. So we're going to show this scribble feature here, and we're going to show this one goes to here because there's not a pairing there. And then this one will go here because there's not a pairing there. And so all we have to do then is draw in our dot, boop, and boop. And now barium has lost 2 electrons. So if it loses 2 electrons, it should have a charge of +2. All right, and I can change the color for that if I want. If I don't want to, that's fine, that I'll leave it orange. And then I just move it over to the right place, resize it into the top left corner, and that's fine. And selenium gained 2 electrons, so that's going to be, hit text again, -2, and then hit the square box, move it to where you want it to be, and then resize, and it's in the top left corner. And so we did all those things. We drew the dot diagrams for each element. We drew a line showing the transfer of electrons from the metal to the non-metal. Barium could lose 2, selenium could gain 2, and so that makes that real easy. We write the charge in the top left for each ion in the top left corner, and so that would be a perfect response. Okay, so hopefully that will help you answer your questions that we have for today. We only had numbers 1 and 2 to do, so you should be very successful in doing those after watching this video.